looking quite forward to tonight. We had a very, very good session earlier today. And yeah, can't wait. So I think let me jump into the session. So obviously you are here, and I just want to give you a warm welcome. And you can see the webinars if you're a web designer, graphic artist, or you can drive traffic via Facebook and Google Ads. Actually, if you can drive traffic anyway, then I want to give you some clients. And that's really what today is all about. So let me start off by just giving you, so that we can, you know what to expect. So obviously, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself and about our company, which is regularclients.com. And in particular, I'll move into explaining to you about our program. So our program is called the Regular Client Blueprint. That's obviously a training program that we've got, and based on that, we've got certain needs that we need fulfilled, and hopefully you guys are going to be able to help out, and we'll explain all of that to you. The first of 3 revenue streams that I'm going to tell you is probably the most important one, and that's the real reason for this webinar. But there are actually a couple of other possibilities that I think we can both benefit from. And then obviously at the end, we'll open it up to questions. So you can ask pretty much anything that you need to ask, and we'll run through all of the answers with you then. So a little bit about myself. Who am I? Well, I'm a chartered accountant. I spent 25 years in the profession, both as an auditor. Don't worry, I'm safe now. I saw the light. I got out in 2011, and the other half of the time I actually spent in commerce and industry. So I was lucky. I was a financial director both in listed companies and some very, very good entrepreneurs that I worked for in private companies. But in 2011, I was actually forced to leave that profession that I'd spent 25 years with, which lost a number of key clients, and really I had no idea how to get them back. And at that time, I was quite inspired by Bill Gates, because I was a bit more of a visionary than the rest of us. And 2 decades before that, he said, if your business is not online, then your business will be out. So that was something that stuck with me. And even then I could see that things were changing, and that if we didn't get on board, we were going to have a serious problem. So what I then did was I spent probably 2 years of 12 to 14 hour days just trying to get my head around this internet thing. But there was very little guidance in those days, and eventually I kind of worked it out. I then wrote a number of books, and I was very, very fortunate because I managed to publish one which became an international #1 bestseller. Excuse me. And that's called Accounting Clients on Tap. So obviously what I did is I went back to my roots, because my poor accounting colleagues, shame, they know absolutely nothing about marketing. So we clearly had to help them out. And really based on that, we were actually able to get 40 new clients from the very first webinar we did. So we actually got 160 accounts onto the webinar, and at the end of the webinar, we managed to sell 40 of them a consultation. And really that's become the basis of what I'm going to show you today, and you'll see some of the iterations that have happened, and you'll get to understand what our market is all about. So really in terms of our target market, you'll see in a moment when I show you the next slide, really we are concentrating very heavily on accountants, which is actually quite a good thing, because they've got a lot of needs as a profession, and they also have clients who have needs. So they are known as trusted. They are seen as such by their clients. So we've got a lot of scope once we've helped out the accountants to help out their clients. For the sake of this, we're really looking at small to medium firms. So in the accounting industry, that would be anyone where, I guess, really from a solopreneur, where you've literally got one person working in the business, although that happens very seldom, to maybe up to 3 partners. They'd also call them owners, directors, whatever you want, but that's what they're known as in the industry. And we're looking primarily up to about 50 staff. That's not to say we don't deal with other people, but it's just, our business, we find that this is the target market that works particularly well for us. So we've got this program called the Regular Client Blueprint, and what has happened now is we've just teamed up with SIPA. So SIPA stands for the South African Institute of Professional Accountants. So they're one of 3 accounting bodies in South Africa who have over 10,000 members. So they're putting their people through this program, and we launched it last week, and we had 500 people on that very first webinar. Now, not all 500 will ascend to the stuff that I'm going to talk to you about tonight, but that is actually a pretty healthy first webinar to kick off for the people that were showing a real interest in what we're going to be teaching them. The same program launched last night. Actually, I launched it in the USA. Next month, early next month, we do some more stuff in the US and through different channels, and also we're going to launch it into Canada. So this program alone is going to put quite a number of people, if you like, into the program. So my problem is that I can't deal with them and I can't scale the business, so I really need the help of people like you. So this whole webinar tonight is really showing you what we're about and hoping that you guys see a synergy, because what I'm really hoping to get out of tonight is to work with a few select people that we can form proper long-term partnership. Hopefully we'll have a lot of work together in the future. So let me just jump into the program itself. So as you can see there, our value proposition, in that dark blue box, is that we help our accountants get at least 2 new clients every month forever. And one of the things that we've done, one of the major changes that we've made, is we've created what we call the signature solution, and you're really looking at the moment. So this is really what we teach our clients. So what I want to do is I just want to run through a little bit of this with you so that I can give you a little bit of context. So when I actually explain to you what we need, it makes perfect sense and you know exactly where we fit in. So I found that all businesses can really be split into 3 main categories or chunks, if you like, or milestones. And then each of those milestones can really be broken down further into sort of sub-milestones or subsections. So in my case, because I'm promising them new clients, you can see we start with that little man in the bottom left, and there's unpredictable client flow. And then if you follow the dotted lines, there's a very, very clear path from the beginning to the end where we now end up with regular client flow. Now, even as you can see, this is for accountants, but honestly, this is for all service-based businesses, and it just works a little bit differently, but the same concept for other businesses, whether they're e-commerce, it makes no difference if they're selling tangible or intangible products. So the beauty of this system is that it's made a massive difference, and I've seen that in my own business, because I've got a relatively difficult business to explain because I'm involved in sales funnels and more of the technical side of things. And I was having a lot of difficulty in explaining to people and getting them to close. So I was having like 4 or 5 to get people to actually jump on and become a client. And so I really had to find a way to simplify it, and this is what I've done. And I think the beauty of this is that people can actually see it. It's all on one page. It's very, very visual, and people know exactly where they are at any point in time. So I'm finding a very, very good response to this, and this is what we're teaching them. Now, the other thing that you will see when you look at this is that every teach we have created a blueprint for. So at the background, obviously that is blueprint paper. So when you see a slide that has that, that denotes that there's a blueprint for it. So obviously the devil is in the detail, and there's a lot of sub blueprints really that support all of this stuff. And that's one of the things that we're going to need when it comes to graphics people. So, but we'll get to that in a minute. So as you can see there, we've got that one clear path. We've got the 3 different levels. So the first level that we speak about, and I remember I said that it's those chunks or milestones. The first is generally some sort of preparatory work or some foundational work, and you can see the number 1 on the left hand side there. We actually call ours the foundation. Then once we've got our foundation in place, then we get into which is pretty much the process side of things. So we've called it the funnel, and that's really where we start to get the ball rolling, and we start putting the bits and pieces together. And then the last level is generally some sort of production. So that's where we actually get the result, and that's the sexy stuff that everybody sees, and they don't see all the real hard work that happens on the first 2 levels. So in our case, we've just called it finish. So we just used the alliteration, foundation, funnel, finish, but it stands for finishing the implementation. And as you'll see in just a while, I mean, if you look at it now, you'll see that the way that we are teaching people to implement is to outsource. So that's exactly where you guys come into the picture. So that's the first level. It's the foundation, and you'll see there we speak about the avatar, the solution, and in this case, because I'm talking to service providers, it's a service, and then the message. So let me jump in and show you what that looks like. Now, I've got to tell you, probably 80% of what we do is that little bit, that big bit, I should say, below the surface of the water. That's where all the hard work gets done, and that's the bit that I've got to take care of. And then I'm just going to hand the sexy bit, that little bit, that 20% that's sitting above, over to you in order to just put the finishing touches to it. So this is where a lot of work happens with our clients. So let's start off with the ideal client avatar. In other words, their ideal client. What I've really found in when it comes to training people, and this is not just accountants, it's pretty much everybody, they've got such a poor understanding of who the ideal client is. So obviously, if you don't know who they are, how are you going to know where to find them or what to sell them? So that's one of the things we teach, and we found that really they don't know what questions to ask. So we teach them what questions to ask, and then obviously how to find the answers. So it's pretty much a process for us. We obviously help them to identify the profitable niche. So you guys will know, being in the marketing business, accountants seem to think everybody who owns a business is a potential client. So they're quite horrified when I tell them that that's not so. But anyway, we dive into it. We find what's profitable. We then want to work out who they are. So that's the typical demographic stuff. Where they are, so obviously we can find them. And then when it gets to the marketing stuff, that's points 4 and 5. We're looking at pains and gains, so frustrations, pains and fears, and obviously whatever it is they want and their desires. And obviously, as long as we can fulfill those, that's how we get clients to pay us the big bucks. So once we know exactly who they are, that takes us from this kind of shotgun scatterbrain approach. So we've got to pretty much being laser targeted. What helps us to be able to make that promise that we can build a system for them that can consistently get them 2 clients a month, every month, forever. So the next thing is the service, as you can see over there. That's the second part of the foundation. And as you can see, you are now looking at my signature service. But my service is exactly the same as, or the process, I should say, is exactly the same for everybody. So everybody will have those 3 levels, and then those 3 levels will be broken into sub-levels, as you see here. So everybody, regardless of who they are going to have their version of this. So for you guys that are graphics people on here, already you're starting to see where you guys are going to fit in terms of creating slides and that sort of thing. So again, as I explained to you a little bit earlier, the real key here with this stuff is that it becomes very, very visual as far as they're concerned. And this businesses that are a commodity, and we take them to position themselves in a market of what you can understand in the accounting market, particularly where it's kind of, this digital disruption has really turned it on its head. So a lot of the accounts are starting to battle, and now they are starting to flock to the online situation, and they're starting to see the power of this. So there's a lot of them that are jumping onto this program. Last thing, obviously, is just our message, and I call it our magic message. I guess another word for that would be the USP. And really what we've done in this case is, once you obviously have worked out who your ideal client is and you've worked out what you're going to sell them, then you need a message to tie all of that together. So again, there's a by the way, I will send you guys these slides at the end of this presentation, so you'll have all the stuff and all the details and what have you that are at the back, so don't stress, so you can have a closer look at it. So you can see there at the bottom in red, that's the $1 million message, and there's a formula. It sounds simple, but you've got to do quite a bit of work to get there. So in my case, I help progressive accountants. So then I'm calling out my avatar. What do I help them to do to get at least 2 new clients a month, every month forever, in 90 days, which is what they want, which is a metric and a timeline, and so that they can stabilize cash flow and retire financially free without having to spend more time at the office. So none of that stuff is an accident. That is all based on the work that we've done before, which is great. As you'll see later on, when we hand the stuff to you, we will give you all of this stuff. So really, we're going to try to make it as easy as possible for you guys to actually put the final product together. So she enables one to go literally from invisible, which again, if you're in a commodity market, that's your problem, to really being irresistible. So if I can have a big that'll be great. Then after that, we get to the second level, and that's really the funnel itself. So really, all a funnel is a thing that helps you to take complete strangers and turn them into paying clients. It's just, let me just go through kind of sales funnels 101. It's not particularly complex. We've tried to make this really, really simple for these guys. So you'll see in terms of what we're going to ask you guys, there's nothing that's really overly complex. In the past, I have been the master of complex. I have built some funnels that even I'm scared of. So we've gone 180 degrees the other way, and we're really trying to make it simple. So essentially, all funnels really have got 4 components. So the first component, obviously, as we know, is going to be driving traffic. So hence, you can see already where you guys that are able to do that are going to come into the picture. The typical funnel is going to it's just a whole bunch of web pages stuck together. And I suppose the best way to describe a funnel is, if you go to a website, any website, you've got total control as the user, or as the search of the browser. So you can decide where you want to go on the website. In the funnel situation, when we build that funnel, we actually determine where you're going to go. So when our visitor then comes to our site, the only choice they have is to go where we tell them through the funnel. Obviously, they can bail out, but we take all of the guesswork out. So this gives us an opportunity to create the sales funnel that we would want, and we just got to get them from left to right. So they start off at the very beginning, as you can see there. You'll probably be quite a fay with this sort of thing. So it's the typical lead magnet. We do it a bit differently, and I'll show you that in a minute. But same concept. Lead magnet. They basically opt in. After that, we take them to the thank you page. What we do here is a little bit different to the norm, and I'll show you a bit more detail in a minute. So if you think about it, when they go to that thank you page to download, this is the one time ever that we get 100% of the people landing on that page. So 100% of the people that opted in. So even when we send emails after that, we hardly ever get 100%. So that is the most valuable piece of real estate, and I'll show you what we do with it in a minute. We've changed things around it, but we don't waste it like a lot of people do when they're gathering leads. We put a video on there, and that video has a very specific purpose, and that purpose is to show them how to apply that lead magnet that we gave them. And then once we do that, we put them into a conversion event, which is just a fancy name for saying that thing that has the call to action that gets them to do what a conversion event would be. A webinar, for example, or it could be a video sales letter, or it could just be me saying, hey, get on my calendar and book a consultation. It's really as simple as that. So when we're dealing with services, like I'm showing you in this particular funnel, obviously the end result is action. If we're dealing with product, some sort of product sale, but there can be any number of outcomes that we want. So really, that's it. It's really as simple as that. And the funnels that we are building probably are not going to be much more complex than this. So you can see maybe 2, 3, 4 pages at the very, very most. And then obviously we have the email follow-up. The email does a couple of things. The first thing that it does is we obviously use it because we can track where people are in the funnel. So if they're stuck at a particular point, then we send them an email to try to shift in the funnel. And then obviously we can do a whole lot of follow-up, and we can either fall off to unsubscribe them. So let me show this to you just in another form. This is the signature funnel. It's in a linear format. A lot of people find this a little bit easier to comprehend. So if you look at it over there, it starts with the funnel there on the foundation on the left. So that's what we just discussed now: the avatar, the service, and the message. Then obviously once you've got your foundation sorted out, then what you need is one traffic source. And we quite favor paid traffic, and I'll explain why in just a little while. So Google and the £500 gorillas when it comes to that. And then obviously that traffic drives into the funnel that we've just discussed. See, simple how everything ties together. One of the steps that we have for this idea of a value ladder, and for a lot of opener, ladder is taking people from a situation where you have products that are free, in other words, magnets that we're going to attract them with, and then as we go up the ladder, they're more and more pricey, and obviously as they go further up the ladder, they get more access, charge them a lot more. So we start off at the bottom at free, top where we literally at tens of thousands of rand. I find that most businesses, but have really only got one product in here. So what we try to do with them is we try to give them 5 different types of products. So you can see on the right hand side there's just a couple of examples. Obviously those are accounting based, but really we start off at the bottom trying to attract them into our business. That's your typical lead magnet, and I'll show you in a minute how we do that in this program. Then we're going to try to give them a tripwire. In other words, a really inexpensive, gives them an opportunity for a very, very low price that's non-threatening with us. So it might be 99 bucks for a book, or it's a discounted. We obviously need to get them into a consultation. I'm a big fan of selling that. I know a lot of people do free consultations, but when we build a funnel, we can actually charge for that, and it makes perfect sense. And I'll show you an example a little bit later on. then obviously we're going to have our sort of core product that or core service that we sell. Now, for most people, that's the one thing that they've got. You know, they don't have the bit below, but they've got this, and this is where our signature system comes into play. Is exactly that little piece that we have over there. Then we want to move into some sort of monthly recurring income if we can, because it's nice to pay the bills on the first of the month. And then lastly, we want to really try to find some really high ticket products. So this is the process that we teach them, and we kind of take them through some of these we need for the funnel. So the funnel being the online funnel, number of these products is for the offline funnel. So our job really is to go and find their clients online, and then to help them to bring those clients offline, because of course this is a service business, and then for them to obviously service their clients that way. If we're dealing with product-based businesses, then obviously we sell the products through the funnel. So by having a value ladder like that, you know, that takes them from having a capped income source to literally having infinite income, because what you're now basically doing is you're being able to increase the lifetime value of, you know, the clients that are there, and of course all the new clients that come in obviously make that compound even further. The next thing is obviously the attract stage. So most of you will probably be quite your typical squeeze page. Again, we do it a little bit differently. I've got an acronym there. I call it the leads machine. Really, it's pretty simple. It's kind of what we said before. So number one over there, that's your lead magnet. Number two is really just the squeeze page with the mechanism to create the opt-in. Then number three is obviously the thank you page, and that's where we speak about that authority positioning, and I'll show you an example of that in just a moment to see what that means. So the leads machine, probably the most important part of it is what we do now. Going back, I'm just going to give you an example here. Going back to the signature solution. Now, this is mine. Obviously, everybody's going to have their own. So if I look at this, I could maybe put out a little 2-page report with all the questions that one needs to answer to be able to define your ideal client avatar. So I could give that to people, and we often do that. Now, if you actually look at this, the way that we actually structure our marketing, once we've gone ahead and we've created this the signature service, if you want to look at it, we kind of got 9 blocks in there, and those 9 blocks are not arbitrary. They do very, very specific things. So when I get onto that video that I was telling you about, when they get to the thank you page, I don't just throw it away and say, oh, here's your report, thank you very much. What I do in that video is I go ahead and I actually explain to them why I've given this report to them, and I actually walk them through. So I'm always giving them a little mini training. So what I'm saying to them is, hey guys, listen, you've downloaded this, thanks. Let me show you how to actually use it. So what I'm doing is I'm building a little bit of trust, and then this gives me the opportunity at the end to, because I've kind of earned it now, I can actually go ahead and ask them to do something, and that thing is taking into the conversion event. And the way that I'm able to ask them is I say, listen, I've solved one problem, but guess what? You know, it's part of a bigger solution. There's 8 other problems. Why don't you jump on my calendar and I'll help you to solve that? So if you guys like this, let me just tell you why this is so powerful. Not only are we able to use it when we're doing this sort of thing where we're creating a lead magnet, but when we're looking at our business, any marketing that we do, we feel has got to fit in here. So this is how I look at everything. So if I'm deciding whether I'm going to do a webinar, I'm going to create a video, or I'm going to do a blog post, or I'm going to create whatever it happens to be, I am saying, does it fit in here somewhere? If it doesn't, then I don't do it. It's as simple as that. If it does, I do it. Why? Because there's always going to be a call to action at every piece of marketing content that we put into this funnel. And that piece of marketing content is going to always say something along the lines of, hey, we solved one problem, there's a bigger problem, come and let us solve that for you. So this is what allows us to get people into webinars and to buy products and come in for consultations and that sort of thing. So this is sort of what it looks like. So you can see there's a metaphorical bridge over there. So I've given them the lead magnet, and you can see below there that's kind of the structure of what we put into this. So they've got the lead magnet. We then get into that authority positioning. We build a bit of trust. We explain to them, and it's fairly logical now for us to have that bridge to say, hey, we've solved one problem. Why don't you jump on board and we'll solve the other problems. And you'll see just now, for the most part, all I'm doing for the accountants is in that video, we're just saying, hey, get on our calendar. So it's pretty simple as far as that's concerned. So this really is what enables us to take your lead from being a trickle to being so let me show you one example, and I think this is those of you that are going to get involved in building funnels can just have an idea of the simplicity of the whole thing. So as you can see, the normal lead magnet, so the lead magnet, as we've already explained, is going to be part of that signature service. We then obviously get to our authority amplifier. What I like to do here, though, is in that authority amplifier, I like to make a sale. And I'm doing a sale of the Tripwire, which is really an inexpensive product. The key there is to make sure that there's tremendous value, so that it's kind of a no-brainer sale. And what we then do is we're essentially combining the conversion event with that. So what we're doing is we're saying to him, hey, he has an ebook for $99, or here is any particular product. It might be a webinar, whatever it is. Why don't you buy this? It's really, really cheap. Oh, and by the way, we're going to throw in a consultation for you, because we want to make sure that you are actually able to apply what you've just purchased in the product that you're looking at. So that is kind of like a subtle way for us to get that consultation. And this works particularly well. So as you can see, I showed you before, the conversion event and the authority amplifier. In this case, we've kind of combined it all into one. So this is a very typical funnel. We're going to create quite a number of these, and obviously then they'll get on the calendar and move through to the consultation. So again, for uptakes, what they're doing from a manual system to an automated, and that is what allows me to make the claim for them that I can actually help them to get 2 new clients every month. Right, now we get to the point that's going to really apply to you guys. This is the bit which, and really when we get to finish this thing, there's 2 big pieces that are missing here. Now I think you can understand, if I've got 500 people on the very first webinar from one source of traffic that are coming into this program, there is no way I can build funnels and drive traffic. And anyway, especially for you guys that drive traffic, you will know that that's very much a specialized field. And I actually outsource some of that stuff myself. I don't even drive my own traffic by and large. So it's very, very important. And if we don't outsource this, then it becomes really difficult for our clients to scale. So it's not only us that can scale, but it's actually them. So if you think of accountants, they're sitting in a place where they charge reasonably high fees, and they are actually involved in trading time for money. I suppose much like you guys are as well, by and large. So for them, it doesn't make sense for them to sit and try to work out how to put a whole bunch of things together so that they can get a funnel up. It's much cheaper for them to just pay somebody who knows what they're doing, who will get it done chop, and the pricing will fit for them, and they can still get a return on investment. And that is whether they are actually the sales funnel. So in other words, the technical stuff. So that's the first piece you see over there. So that's the sales funnel. And then of course there's the traffic component. And then obviously as you're looking at this, I've been showing you all sorts of these blueprints as we've gone through. We need some graphics for that, and also for all these funnels we need graphics for that. So the graphics might entail things like logos, colors, and all of those good things that go with it. So this really is what takes it from to being productive. So to that signature funnel and perspective, just to summarize, we've got the 80-20 rule. So all of those white blocks below there, that's all the stuff that I've got to do with them. So that's where all the hard work happens. And then if you look at all the icons at the top, that's all the sexy stuff. Remember, that's the stuff above the iceberg, and that's the stuff that we're going to hand over to you. So if you want to kind of put it into a box, if you like, you've got the foundation on the left. So that's where the graphics guys come into play. The traffic, that's fairly obvious. And then obviously on the right-hand side, there's funnels. Now, the thing with funnels, I'm more concerned about the sales funnel, but when it comes to professionals, they have to have a website as well. So I always do a poll when I'm either doing webinars or even when I'm speaking from the stage, and I always ask the question, how many of you have got a website? And I can tell you from experience that, in fact, only once ever has the answer been more than 50%. So most of the time, for the rest of the time, in fact, less than 50% of them have a website, okay, which is like really, really scary stuff. They're starting to come around now, and they're starting to understand that this digital disruption thing is actually a serious problem. So that's great. And then there's a follow-up question. So I say to those that have got a website, I say, okay, so now those of you that have got a website, how many of you have got clients from the website? And the answer is most of the time, probably 95% of the time, anything. So they need funnels. The funnels is kind of the new side as well. So although I don't really want it, kind of doesn't make sense to have the one without the other, and they definitely, for the majority of them, we need to upgrade. So there's a lot that can actually happen when it comes to that. So obviously the foundation piece, that's going to be for the graphics guys, for the traffic guys, and then a lot of the funnels, as we said. So if you look at it in perspective, the sort of services that we need are the website design, that I've just explained. Websites obviously comes graphics and content, the funnels and the websites that kind of go hand in hand. Setting up the autoresponder and the email sequence. That's pretty easy because I'll be using it in just a moment, and there's an autoresponder that's built in. I'll explain it to you in a moment. Videos. So remember, we've got that authority positioning page where obviously we're walking them through that lead magnet. The best option is going to be for that to be a headshot camera facing type videos. If they're really not that comfortable, we'll do screen capture, but I'd prefer to do it that way. So there's opportunity to make those videos, obviously PowerPoint presentations and clearly traffic. So those are the sorts of things that we're going to need. So last year, when I was starting to look at how I could scale the business, one of the big problems that I've always had is the tech. In fact, when I looked at one of my webinar funnels, and in fact, one of the blueprints, which I don't have in this presentation, is showing people that there's literally 7 different pieces of technology that we used to use in the old days, so to speak, that had to talk to each other in order to put a good webinar funnel together. And I absolutely detest that because it's so difficult. Just one of those stupid little things breaks and then the whole funnel breaks. Or, WordPress does an upgrade and, the plugin manufacturers plugin doesn't work and it crashes the system. So I really had to find a way to scale it. Now, if any of you guys have been playing in the funnel arena, you'll probably know Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels. That's a very, very good SaaS application that is put into place, but the entry level of that is $97 a month, and my people they just couldn't justify it because they don't need 1 million clients. They're not like an e-commerce business where it kind of makes sense. And what they're going to do, the accountants, is they open the taps for a little while. They get 3, 4, 5 clients. Then for them it's quite a production because they actually got to bed those clients down, and there's statutory stuff, and they got to take them on. So it's not like other people. You get a client, you sell stuff. There's a lot that goes in behind it. So they don't need that many. Saying you want to be paying $97 a month. Do you know what that is in rands? So I had a big problem with that. So we started looking around for alternatives. And last year I came across this product called Builderall, and it does a whole bunch of things, and I'm going to show you exactly what it does in a minute. And I had a look at it. They've got a 7-day trial, which I said, okay, well, I'll try, because you don't even have to put a credit card in. So I had a look at that. I said, okay. And I bought it the very next day. So I want to show this to you because this is actually made my life infinitely easier, and I'll show you why in a minute. So as far as our clients are concerned, we're just pushing them all through here for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's economical. Secondly, it works, and it's very easy. So I don't want to be in a situation, well, I can't be, I've just got too many people where, I'm trying to build stuff on WordPress, and then I'm doing all sorts of other plugins, and, then I'm doing, ClickFunnels and then something else. So my clients, if you want to be my client, the rule is you have to be on Builderall. It really is as simple as that, so that we can simplify this. So if you look at it, just a couple of facts before I show you some of the features. I didn't know about this actually until last year, and neither did most people actually, even though the company's been around for 7 years. So it was founded in Brazil. Apparently they've got a team of 60 software developers, and I'm pretty sure they have, because I've seen the improvements that they've made from last year till now, and it's incredible the amount of features that they're adding and the speed with which they're doing it. So now we've got one platform really that incorporates internet marketing. Obviously we've got all the funnel automation, which is the stuff that excites me. They've got the design tools that might excite you a little bit, and there's also a lot of cool toys for the marketers. So I'll show you that in a minute. And the comparable monthly cost, as you'll see, because you guys will know you're in the business, is literally hundreds of dollars for what they're giving. And a little bit later on, I will give you that link to the 7-day free trial at the end of the webinar, so you can go and play with it and see if it's something that works for you. So the way they've structured this thing is they've actually got 3 different pricing structures, and it kind of makes sense when you look at it. So it starts off at $9.90. These are monthly prices. So $9.90 a month. They include hosting and a whole bunch of other things that I'll show you in a minute. So if you just need a website, so if you're that guy that just needs the simple website, a couple of pages, this is for you. But having said that, you can still sell stuff off it. You can do, you can build funnels. I'll show you the key elements in just a moment. It's quite incredible what you can do. And then once you get past that, they're saying, okay, now look, if you want to be a marketer, then you need some of the cool toys, and we'll throw in those toys. That's going to cost you $29.90. And then there's a business side to this, and I'll explain that to you in a minute. You don't need that for this, but it would be remiss of me not to tell you about it, so I'll explain that to you in just a minute. So let's just start at the beginning, and let's look at what we get from the I've got to tell you, when I saw this, so what I did, I went to the sales page and I literally cut and paste all of these things, and it's taken me a whole PowerPoint slide to fill. And I honestly did not believe when I saw this that it could do it. And if it wasn't for that free trial, I'm not sure I would have had the courage to try it, but I did. And so I spent, I think, 14 hours that first day. I was so excited, and all the stuff worked. So I bought it the next day. So let me tell you some of the stuff. So obviously you can have unlimited visitors, unlimited funnels, and unlimited pages and websites. I'll qualify that for you in a minute when I get to domains. But if you're just using, that domain that they assign you, you can go crazy. The next thing is they've got a number of different editors. Now, the one I like, funny enough, is the first one, because it's like PowerPoint. So one of those HTML5 editors. So guys like me who know nothing can literally drag stuff and put it where we want. But then obviously they've also got the responsive editor. So they've got one specifically for mobile, and then obviously they've got another one for desktop. And we can use that application. They've got over 1,000 templates. It's pretty awesome for a lot of people, especially for the do-it-yourselfers. Even for us, it's pretty nice. Here is the function that really got me very, very excited, and this is the ability to duplicate stuff. So we can duplicate pages and layouts and that sort of thing. But the other thing we can do is we can actually duplicate entire websites, and we can transfer that website. So because this is where my life becomes quite easy, because we're only, as a rule, I would say, we're going to build probably 3 different types of funnels for our accountants. So we can basically just build the first one. We can then push it to you, give you all that information that you need, and then we say, okay, now you speak to the client over there. Logo, if you need stuff, sort him out, and just build the funnel according to these specs. So it becomes very, very easy for us to do that. And of course, if you have your own account, you can kind of build it, and when you're ready, you can push it to the client. So that works particularly well. You can go ahead and you can sell stuff. They link it to things like Stripe, PayPal. You can put HTML code in via iframe. So for example, I use PayFast in the South African environment, so we can still connect up South African merchant accounts and that sort of thing, but the American ones and PayPal and that sort of thing are actually integrated, and also some of the affiliate networks, which is pretty cool for a lot of people. Membership sites, so obviously restricted access areas, so it can be free or paid as far as that's concerned. Obviously, you can have professional email addresses with your domain. As we said, hosting is actually included. And here's probably the most important piece, just to point out to you, that you can connect on the 990 package one single domain. Okay, so obviously you can have as many subdomains as you want, and if you're not connecting your own dedicated domain, you can still have as many sites as you want on the arbitrary domain that they assign you as part of your account. And this is probably one of the major differences why somebody would take the 990 package as opposed to the next package up, which obviously is the marketing package. So let's talk about that. So we can just show you some of the toys that they've got for people like us. So they've got a 10,000 subscriber autoresponder built in. Okay, so that comes with all that for $30. I think I looked at Aweber the other day. The comparable price for that is about $70 just for the autoresponder, and you can obviously send unlimited emails. You want to create automated videos, explainer videos. We can do that obviously in the software as well. Floating videos, so that's pretty much that green screen stuff where people can walk onto the screen, so you can do all of that. The other thing is it doesn't have to be one of those videos. I mean, you can have the normal sort of rectangular video. You can put it anywhere that you want on the page, and obviously it can be sticky there, so that's quite useful for us as marketers as well. Design studio mockups, they've got a gazillion of these things, anything from like a billboard to your stuff on a bus stop, or, to a beautiful woman holding a computer with your images, and the typical mock-ups of ebooks, videos, that sort of thing. That's quite comprehensive. Presentation build is quite nice, actually. Obviously this is what it allows us to online, and this presentation build is kind of a combination between PowerPoint and Prezi, if you've ever played with it. So it's pretty nice as far as that's concerned. Some SEO tools, a little bit more complex than you get in the basic package. A whole lot of Facebook apps integrations, which is quite nice for us as marketers. Browser notifications, so obviously we can push stuff to them pretty easily. Click map and heat map, that's quite nice for us as marketers. Obviously we want to know if they're clicking our stuff. Something else that's quite cool, I'll be honest, I don't know much about this. This is not my domain. I had a quick look at some of the videos, but they've got I wouldn't say basic, but it actually seems that you can do quite a bit with the app creator. So you can create a native app that can kind of link into the website, and that allows people to connect with their clients. So I think a lot of our clients would really like it. So if any of you are app creators, this is pretty cool. So if you're selling a client the platform, it's like they've got this whole toolbox. They may as well use it, and they're going to have no idea how to use it. As I say, I'm a case in point. I got no idea. I'm going to take that to somebody else. And something that's not even on their website yet. They've just launched a webinar platform. Currently, the webinar platform is just recorded webinars, so automated evergreen stuff. They are probably within the next month or so going to launch the live webinar platform. I'm sure you guys know what things like GoToWebinar cost. I'm using Webinar Jam. I think this thing's like $400 a year. So the costs just go on and on. So as you can see, it's phenomenal if you're a marketer as far as this package is concerned. So let me talk to you about the builder opportunity, two opportunities as I see it for you. The first one is what you got to understand from my perspective. The only thing I care about as far as this is concerned is that my clients get a funnel in the format that I need it to be. So when I hand that, clearly the only thing that I need you to do. After that, I am more than happy for you to sell them whatever it is that you want to sell them as far as your services are concerned. So the minute I hand them over, they actually become a joint client. So obviously traffic is fairly clear. If you're into content marketing, social media, SEO, all of that stuff. Email marketing, of course, it's now easy because they actually have the tool once they've purchased the $29.90 package, and it's very simple to offer that for them. Video creation, as we've seen, they're going to definitely need that, and frankly, anything else that you provide in the digital space. And the nice thing is that we're kind of educating them before we hand them over, so you know they're already primed and ready to take on other services. So that's the first opportunity. The second opportunity is a financial opportunity that Builderall actually introduced at the beginning of this year. So for me, and maybe for you, depending on your business model, I kind of fell with my bum in the butter a little bit, because this is just like them basically giving me free money, because they've created a tool that works for me. And what they've done is they've created a 2-tier affiliate program. So you'll know most tools that we promote have got a 1-tier. You know, you promote it, you get X amount. This is, if we promote it, we get 30% on that promotion. So if our clients obviously buy, so in my case, all of my clients are going to go into it. I'm going to insist that they go into the $29.90 package, because I need the toys and the tools for that. And if for whatever reason one of those people sell it to one of their clients, which as accountants there's actually a pretty good probability that they will, then I'll get another 30% on 2 levels. So it's pretty simple. So what they do is in the first month, they just give you the 100% of whatever that subscription is. So as you've seen, there's the 3 levels. There's the $9.90, the $29.90, and the $49.90. So a very simple example is, so let's say a client purchases the package for $49.90, and they get one of their clients to do the same. So in month 1, you can see the red there, we'll obviously get the full $49.90. In month 2, we'll get 30% of that. So that's $14.97, and of course we'll get the 30% of their client's purchase. So that's a combined total of $29.94, and that's recurring for as long as they stay in the program and buy their subscription. Obviously, if we build them a site and we build them a funnel, they kind of need it. So once they're in, you know, the price of ejecting is pretty high. That's the opportunity if that is something that interests you. So in order to take advantage of that, you need to jump into the $49.90 package. There's absolutely no difference in the tools that you get. It's exactly the same tools as you get in the $29.90 package. So if you look at this and you say, okay, well, this makes sense, I'm going to put clients into it and I'm going to be able to recover the money, then this is kind of a no-brainer. If not, then it's not a no-brainer. Then you don't need to go here at all. You just stay on the $29.90 package in order to do that. So if you do want to go here, I want to do the maths. The majority of us are going to sell the $29.90 package. So we'd need 6 of those in terms of the maths at 30%. And if we did sell the $49.90, we'd need 4 of those to break even on a monthly basis. Obviously, you still get that 100% up front. So those are the numbers. That is something for you to decide on your own bet whether that's something that makes sense to you or not. So what do I need you to do? So here's the important bit. I'm going to give you that link to the free trial in just a little bit once we finished with the webinar, so you can go and have a look at that. Here's the one caveat as far as this is concerned. You must sign up using that. It is an affiliate link, so I'm telling you right now so that you know. And the reason is that I need to be able to track it in my back office so that I know who's jumped on board. And the reason for that is very simple. If I make some money out of it, that's great, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is that I need to know that you guys who are going to be building funnels for my clients know how that platform works. So like anything, there is a little bit of a learning curve. You've got to go through some stuff. But for us, we've used, different platforms and WordPress and plugins before. It's not rocket science, but there are one or two idiosyncrasies because it's a platform on its own. And of course, obviously, if you do upgrade later using the affiliate link, you don't pay anymore. As you know, it's very typical affiliate marketing. So strictly speaking, for my purposes, you don't need the big package. You just need a $29.90 package. You will need that package because you need the toys. You've got to be able to play with that stuff, and you're going to have to be able to institute some stuff. One of the things I do, by the way, with my clients, which works really well, is when I start building the site, I actually build it on my domain. And the reason I do that is because if they don't pay, then they don't get the site. So what I do is I wait until the end, and then I say to them, okay, now go ahead and you go ahead and you get yourself a subscription. Then they give me the login details, and then I push the site, because remember, I can push the whole site through to them. So I make sure I get paid first. So this is a pretty cool way of actually doing it. In fact, I've got a client at the moment that's giving me a lot of crap, and I gave them the good news. So I think I'll be getting my payment fairly soon. So it's pretty strong. So one thing you need to understand, I'm never going to ask you for any referral fees or anything as far as this is concerned. I really look at this as an arm's length transaction. And if you think about it, all three of us win. So I get to scale my business. I've explained that to you. I think it should be fairly obvious by now. My clients get the services. Now, they really do not have the time or the inclination to want to do it. Their productive time is just too valuable, so they get the stuff done. And you get a client, but I think you get more than a client. You get an educated client. So remember, we're taking them through an entire marketing process. Generally when they start with us, they are clueless. They've got absolutely no idea how to do it. So not only are we teaching them marketing, but now we're bringing them into the digital age. So when we hand them over to you, they don't just want a website or a video. Now they want, a whole suite of packages, a whole suite of features and things. And the nice thing about the Builder All platform, you saw a lot of those features. We're able to basically take those features and then utilize them. So you go to the client, you say, listen, you've got this. I can do it for you for X. So now you can start making videos. You can start doing email marketing. You can start giving them SEO reports. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do that's already inherently built in. And as I said, you can sell them whatever you want. So the third opportunity that I wanted to chat to you about tonight is that this webinar is really geared towards me building some long-term relationships. So even though I'm teaching my clients how to outsource, I always like to be able to actually refer, because they always ask you that. And the other thing that they ask me is for stuff that I don't do. So I'm looking for really more than just those three things that I explained to you. So if you can provide digital services in any way, you need to speak to me, because my clients are always coming to me and saying, can you do this? Who can you recommend? And I don't know, or I don't do that is always the wrong answer. So this whole webinar that I've put together for you is really an opportunity to explain this to you. But really what I'm hoping to do is to build some really nice, strong relationships where we can work one-on-one. So after this webinar, I'd love to get on a phone with you, get on Skype, see you in person if we're close enough, and let's talk about it and see what we can do. So that's very, very important. So I think if we're looking at that, we also have the opportunity for cross referrals from our side. And I think the big benefit there is that there's a major synergy in what we do. So the synergy is in that we have the same client base, but I think we provide them very, very different services. So I think that helps us a lot. And this whole idea that I'm explaining to you now, this actually came about last year when I was actually looking for traffic providers. So I was trying to solve the traffic problem at that stage, and I got hold of a number of agencies and had a chat to them. And I realized when I was speaking to them that they've got a little bit of a weakness in their system. It's an inherent weakness. That's not their fault, actually. It's actually the client's fault. And that is that the client's return on investment is not always particularly good. Now, they can generally drive the traffic. That's not the problem. The problem is the clients sometimes are not too educated, so they'll do stupid things, especially if they've got a lot of money. Now they're trying to do branding, but eventually you can only do so much branding. The others send them to silly places, and they don't they don't have a mechanism like a sales funnel where they can get a conversion. So eventually, because there's no ROI, they've got to stop the advertising. So I think that's where we come in. If you were to refer your clients to us, we could actually be in a situation where we could actually educate them, and hopefully we can help them to build a funnel. So that's going to prolong, the situation of them paying you a retainer to drive the traffic. Having said that, although we don't ask you for a referral fee, we offer one on our side. So remember, we're not only dealing with you, so it's not like we're doing you a special favor. It's something that we do with everybody, and it's pretty simple. I'll explain that to you in just a minute. And as I say, hopefully we're going to train the people, and we're going to give them back to you as educated clients, and hopefully they're going to then want to buy a whole lot of stuff. So let me show you what that looks like. Now, if you don't get all of this right now, don't worry. I'll give you the nuts and bolts in just a minute. But let's say you said, okay, James, I kind of like that. Let's see what we can do. And you would have sent a client to us. What we would then do is, obviously, what we like to do is we put them into a webinar. So we would give you an affiliate link, so they'd be cookied at the point where they register for the webinar. Then on that same registration page, we would have your builder link. So essentially, in one transaction, you're actually getting 2 affiliate links built in. Now, we will build a separate funnel for each of you, because we obviously have to, as you can see. But remember, I explained to you earlier that we can just push a funnel. So in fact, I almost don't even have to build this for you. I can actually just push the funnel, and you can control this whole thing yourself. So obviously, once they've done that, then they go to the webinar registration page. So remember, I spoke to you about the authority positioning. We do exactly the same. So this is not just your ordinary webinar confirmation page. We're doing that little authority positioning thing. And again, we're pushing them back, if they haven't already got it, to go using your affiliate link again, so that they can get Builderall. Then they'll come to the webinar. We will, at the end of the webinar, we'll obviously make the offer. And again, we will, at that point, if they haven't, we will once again push them towards your Builderall affiliate link. And obviously, we're going to try and make an offer. And the offer that we make to them is a consultation offer. So we priced that at 1,000 Rand in South Africa and $97 anywhere else in the world. And really, all what we're looking for is to have the opportunity to have a discussion with them. So if they've kind of gone through the webinar and they're at the point where they're wanting to or they're prepared, I should say, to spend $1,000 and come for an hour consultation, that's a pretty good indication that they'll ascend to the next level. And the next level with us is our monthly coaching. So we are actually happy to give you that entire commission, regardless of whether we sell them anything or not. It doesn't matter to us. If we can give you a further 20% on a monthly basis for as long as they stay, we're generally pricing that between 5,000 and 10,000 Rand a month. It just depends on how much time we go to give them. Our average time is 6 months in terms of what they're staying. So that's what we'll give you. Then, of course, on the day that I showed you before, you'll get the 100% of whatever it is, $9.90, $29.90, or $49.90. And then, of course, you'll get 2-tier commissions, certainly 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky, into perpetuity, as long as they stay on the program. So that's the opportunity there. So hopefully there's a little bit of scope for us to work together. And as I say, if you want, that's an offer that's on the table. So as I've said, about long-term relationships, and I really do hope to speak to interested after this, and let's see what we can do going forward, because I think there's a lot of scope. I didn't have it ready for tonight, but I've got my techie guys just building something on the back end. Is we're actually building so obviously, for those of you that choose to get involved, that opens you up to the international market as well. But further than that, what we're doing as well is we're just listing all the stuff that you do, because I've looked at decent sort of online directories in South Africa, seen as we're doing this, and all that says we need to get people, we may as well put the directory together. So that's also available, though I haven't got it ready to. So in summary, let me just run through this. The first opportunity is obviously to service our clients, so that obviously they become joint clients. Your minimum commitment really is you've got to be proficient on the platform, so your cost is going to be $29.90 a month. If you want to do the sale thing, if it makes sense in your business, and it may not, then you go to the $49.90. Otherwise, it makes no sense for you to do that, so you don't have to worry about that. The second opportunity obviously is the Builderall commission system. If you want to go there, you're in for $49.90 a month. That's the stipulation. You've seen already, you get 100% on the first month. $10, $30, $50, or 30% thereafter on 2 levels. So you've seen that. The break even, remember, is 6 on the $29.90 package and 4 on the $49.90 package. And then, of course, the last opportunity is one where I really hope we do play, because this is where real relationships are forged, and I think this is where we get a lot of work in the future. So we have that consultation, whether they sell anything or not, 100% of that, and 20% coaching from onwards. And at the moment, it's at about 6 months average that they spend there. So a couple of things. No, if you drive traffic stats. So when I say that, it could be existing clients of yours, or maybe you're doing it in some other way, or you've got a list of prospects. And obviously, if we get them as clients and we convert them, we send them back to you. Okay, obviously there's a way that we're looking at doing this equitably in terms of people that come in on our side, in terms of the guys that jump on this partnership. It'll probably be on kind of a rotation basis. So if we got 10 people on, the first 10 go to them, and then the 11th one goes back to number 1. It'll be something like that. But if you're driving the traffic, clearly we give that person back to you, however that traffic happens to be driven. So that is pretty much it. That is the picture as far as everything is concerned. As you can see there, let me just give you the hang on, I've got the wrong link. I just want to grab that link that we'll put in the chat box, so that it becomes quite easy for you to go ahead and grab your 7-day free trial for when you're ready. Unfortunately, that download link is not ready for the slide. So what I'm going to do is, after the webinar, I'm actually going to send you guys all an email with a link. So I'll give you these slides, and they'll have all the speaker notes as well. So you'll pretty much get, hopefully, if I can remember, because I'm not looking at the notes now, but there were notes that I wrote when I created the slides. You'll have all those speaker notes. There's a little icon in the top left-hand corner. If you just hover over that, you'll get all the notes. So if you need a recap on anything, but there's all my details. I'd certainly love to hear from you guys if you guys are keen. And you know what, even if this doesn't appeal to you, I'd just appreciate it if you just drop me a mail and say, thanks, James, but it's not for me. That's pretty cool. If it is, let's chat. This week has been an absolute horror for me. Tomorrow doesn't get much better, but next week I'll have a lot of time. If I'm out in Edenvale in Joburg, if you're anywhere close, let's get together. Let's have coffee. Let's chat. If not, let's just get on Skype and let's have a chat and let's see what we can do. We need people all over the country. A lot of clients do actually still like to go see people. Us digital guys, we don't care. We'll talk to you on Skype and we can do stuff. But, accountants, a lot of them are unfortunately still rather conservative. So we do need people all over the show, because our client base comes all around the country. So we're happy to chat to you there. So yeah, let me know, and just let me know if you've got any questions at this stage. If you've got any questions, just pop them into the box. Let me just get into my question box so I can see that you want me to answer. While I'm waiting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer one question that came up this morning, which kind of makes sense. A lot of you are already playing in the space with websites, and you're very proficient in things like WordPress or Wix or whatever it is that you're using. So the question is, well, do you have to use Builder, or can you use WordPress, for example? So the short answer to that is, when you're building funnels, you have to use Builder, and that's not because of you, that's because of me. I need to be in a position where I can actually streamline my business, and I'm just not prepared on my side, just because it's too hard. I've been there, I've done it. I'm not prepared for my clients to have a whole lot of different pieces of tech that they're working with. Okay, I'm not going to build WordPress funnels for this guy and Kartra funnels for that one, and Click funnels for that one. Everyone's on Builder. So if you're in my program, that's what you're doing. So I can control it. It's very easy, and it becomes very, very simplified. However, I still think that if you look at the functionality, even if somebody had a website and you say to them, well, listen, you're paying $30 a month, but you're paying that for marketing, I don't think we would have too much resistance from certainly from my clients. So your clients may be a little bit different. So what I'm saying to you is, if you want to then go and build a website for them on WordPress, well, fine, go ahead. But they're still going to need the component on Builder. But that's no big deal, because they're not in necessarily, unless it's part of your business model, to charge them monthly for a WordPress site. If it is, obviously you've got a conflict of interest, and you're going to have to choose what works for you. But obviously you can then build something on Builder and just pop the link onto their site. So it becomes very easy. So you don't have to go and recreate everything. It's just really the funnel that needs to be on Builder also. It kind of works for everybody. So I don't see any questions. Are you guys all happy? Do you have any questions that you want to ask at this point? Maybe let me ask you a different question. If you can maybe just give me a little bit of feedback. Did you guys follow the webinar? Are you happy that I gave you a decent explanation and you know exactly what I'm talking about? Let me know, because it's always important to know when you're doing these things to get a little bit of feedback. So if you could let me know, that'd be great. And again, I can't believe there's no questions. Either I'm really good or you guys are really tired. It's one of the two. I know I certainly am. Okay, I'm not really seeing any questions there. Let's give it a couple of secs. If not, then I guess done. So Danielle says all's good. I'll email you tomorrow. Thank you so much again, guys. Thank you for being on here. I know that this eats into the private time. You know, it's family time. Thanks, Theo. Theo says answered the one question I had. So a lot of appreciation for you guys jumping on, especially after hours. Thank you. I certainly appreciate it. If you've got any questions, it's your last chance. Otherwise, we can all go and get some sleep. All right, guys, looks done for now. So yeah, we're gonna end off, and yeah, let's chat next week. What I'm gonna do is after this, I'll download the email lists of everybody who's on the webinar, and I will shoot through those slides for you. So you got them. You'll have all the contact details and everything else that you need. All right, guys, thanks very much. We'll chat to you later. Bye then.